Hi, I'm Catherine
And I'm Lynn, and we are a coffee break.
with Cat and Mom. Welcome back to our podcast. Today's episode 32. And as you can see, we have a bunch of books on the table because today we are having a book talk. Right now, I'm really into this series called ACOTAR, which I'm going to talk about. But my mom has read all sorts of books in 2 different languages, so she'll talk about that too. But first, before we start our topic, we're going to do our weekend review. If you want to start.
It's been a very busy week this week. As you know now, we finally moved because we talked about it in episode 31.
Yes, this is a new setting. I guess I didn't really talk about that. I'm sure we'll film another episode when we're at the condo on the balcony, but this is the original owners actually left this, and it's a perfect little coffee spot.
This was their little coffee spot because they had a little coffee bar right there.
So this is perfect for the podcast. Maybe we'll get like a backdrop that has our logo on it.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So this week we moved in, and then it was unpacking because my mom just flew in today to help organize this new house and also to stay here because I'm going on a little mini vacation.
She's going to freaking Cabo without me. That's why we're filming this late at night.
Yeah,
because it had such a busy week. And now this is the only time that we have before she goes to Cabo.
Yeah, I know. I've been unpacking till past midnight since Sunday. And, but you know what? There's like maybe 4 mini boxes left. So it was worth it. It's done. And then we can just start a new life here. So,
yeah. And then we are bringing another cat home tomorrow. So little backstory. There's a little black stray cat. He's been there since he was a kitten, and I saw him with his sibling. Yeah, back at the condo. And he would never come up to me or my boyfriend Bryce. And then eventually he all of a sudden got so comfortable, came up to us. And as the time went on, he now follows us. We'll go on, I don't know, a 30-minute walk, and he will be at our feet walking with us the full 30 minutes.
And he walks in front of you.
Yes, and he snakes through your legs to try to cut you off if he knows when you're leaving, and he'll try to cut you off or attack your foot so that you don't leave and you keep petting him. But I think my mom fell in love with him. At first she's like, no, I'm too tired. I'm not going to go meet him. I'm not going to go out there and pet him. And then all of a sudden she's putting a box out for him. She's putting food out for him and water. Make sure Alfie has food in the morning. Make sure Alfie has water.
He's like the perfect, for Halloween, the little decoration. We had a freaking decoration like this.
Yeah, here.
Little cat, the round back kind of thing that we had in front door. He's that cat.
He's
that cat.
He's the Halloween cat. I think his birthday will be on Halloween.
Well,
because he's around.
Oh, and then this is our other cat. This is our regular cat.
She may come up on our laps or something. But she is pretty lonely though. I think. Because he's still young, 6 months old, I think, around there, or 5 months, that maybe she'll feel like a mother, a sense of mother.
Sure, no.
And she'll feel like she has a purpose. She's right here.
And we have Isabella, so my oldest, we have her cat coming, because she is going to be over for the summer.
Here she is.
Here's Daphne. Here's and actually we rescued her too.
Yeah, this is perfect for our little book talk. Kitties and books.
And, and your sister's cat, Harley.
He doesn't like to cuddle, though. He only likes to lay with her.
He lays. If you're sleeping, he will lay at your feet. But he's not like the one that you can pick up and love. She's not even that good about that. She's good right now, but
I think it's because she's so scared in this new home that she finds comfort with us. But this other cat, Alfie, we call him Alfie because my boyfriend and I went to Olive Garden, and then the first day that the stray cat came up to us was that night after we got Olive Garden, and I had Alfredo, and so we named him Alfredo, and now Alfie for short.
Well, we came up with my coworker today. We came up with different names that would be cool.
I thought of names from my book, ACOTAR. No, because there's people from the night court. And Bryce was like,
she said Alfie from Emily in Paris. Alfie. And I was like, okay, no, did she say Mr. Pickle? And that's not what she said. Romeo
is her cat's name.
Was her cat's name. He passed away. But Yeah, that was like when she was younger.
Oh.
But anyways, if you have any ideas, please just shoot some ideas.
His name has been Alfie for 6 months.
He does not know his name. He never comes to us when we say Alfie.
But I'm gonna be too used to Alfie that like where his name. I called him like my friend's cat's name, which was Meow Meow. So he really doesn't have a name. It's either Meow Meow or Alfie.
Maybe Bubba at the end. I call Harley Bubba anyways because he's a little fat. So
don't tell Bella that; she'll get mad. But he's coming. Alfie's coming tomorrow. He's already neutered, and they gave him his vaccinations. I think there's a lady in the condo area that kind of is taking it upon herself to get all the cats spayed and neutered. It's like her mission.
I think she's like she doesn't have the cats in her house. She's the crazy cat woman without
having the cats
inside the house.
Yeah. But that is what we're doing tomorrow. We're gonna go get the cat and bring him home. So hopefully she doesn't get too angry. She just got settled in.
I won't be here, so I will hear all the stories.
Yeah, but we're gonna clip his nails before he comes in because she is declawed in her front paws.
So, we rescued her that way.
Yeah, so that wouldn't go good if they got into a fight and she gets scratched because she's always my number one. So yeah. And then now we'll go into our coffee review.
Yes, we tried a new coffee place this morning.
Since we moved here, we've only reviewed one coffee shop from Stewart. So we decided to do another coffee shop from Stewart. Obviously, we're going to explore all the coffee shops around here. It's nice because we're kind of running out of spots near us.
Yeah, and there's so many here. Just going to the restaurant today, we saw 3 in a row.
It's like a very big thing here. There's not much of like a nightlife, so it's more of like the day life, like restaurants to go to by the water, coffee shops to go to. But the place we went to is called the 3 Baristas. It's amazing. The workers that work there are so sweet.
There was only 2 though. It says 3.
Yeah. The coffee beans, they had like multiple different options.
He explained to us that they started to do this. They roast their own beans. There was 6 different ginormous, containers, like glass containers, and he was very nice to explain to us. There was people waiting. I felt terrible, but he was just explaining like all of our tastes and our taste buds are different. So if you want something special, if you want to, they can mix 3 beans together, and then they will not roast them, but they will what do I say? They will grind them for you and then make a mix, and then you can actually call ahead and they'll do it for you, and then you go and then you try it to make sure you like it. Because if you don't like it,
then you said like your diet and lifestyle affects your taste. Yeah. So like not everybody's going to think that is the one that tastes good. So that's very interesting to me. That's almost like a science experiment.
Pack it up for you. Yeah, it is kind of like. So it was really cool to experience. I had a cafe breve.
Yeah, a cafe breve, which we actually talked about last
we made
episode.
Fun of your dad.
Yeah, my dad always gets a latte breve. And it's just funny because it's a...
Well, go ahead.
It's like I don't know, you have like a 50-year-old guy.
Well, he's 59, but okay.
I'm going through a drive-thru and he's like, can I get a latte breve? He says it's so funny too. Well, is it real honey in it? Because
I didn't have honey in mine. She said their own little organic sweetener, whatever she said it was, and she wanted. I mean, she even made me try to make sure I liked it. If I needed to change it, something. I mean, it was so sweet. They would have made it, But it was just very nice in there as well. You could go and there's like tables and leather chairs and couches. You could go and study and stuff. They had little tables outside. It was getting really busy when we left. There's people with their dogs in there and stuff, and they were selling the grinders or like a bunch of little cute coffee, for 2 people kind of, that we could have here. Excuse me, that you can do it, yourself. And
they have like every coffee essential, and they're like true coffee connoisseurs. Like they had everything.
He was talking slow and very
it's very cool to learn about like the science behind the coffee, because maybe we need to do an episode about that.
Yeah.
Like we can also learn ourselves because we are trying coffee from all these different places. So I got a Dubai chocolate coffee, which right now it's trending on all social media, Dubai chocolate. I don't know if you've seen it, Dubai chocolate with pistachio. people trying to like home make it and stuff. And there's
I'm not a
kits
big
that they sell.
pistachio person, but
like I've always wanted to try the actual Dubai chocolate because I haven't. But the coffee was amazing. If that's what the Dubai chocolate tastes like, then I will definitely invest in that.
I really like mine too. I never have coffee. I didn't even know what cafe breve was, but it's made with half and half. I'm not a half and half type of person, but it was silky. It was just, I don't know. Or maybe it was the coffee bean that we had in there that was different. It just had a different taste. It was really, so shout out to them on Monterey. I think that was Monterey Road in Stewart, right off of the bridge from Palm City. So that was something. And then their food was excellent. I'm guessing the chocolate chip muffin must have been great because there was nothing left when I got home.
He actually gave us a bacon and chive.
A turkey scone.
Oh, I got that totally wrong.
Yeah, turkey scone, bacon. No, it was not chive. Bacon. It was spinach and chive or something.
Yeah.
With sea salt on top. Oh my god. Or
everything bagel seasoning, I think it was.
I don't know. It was freaking amazing.
But it was, he gave that to us for free just as like a, I don't know. He was just being so nice. And then I got an almond croissant. I love it. It had like the almond like cream or whatever in the middle. And I love when they just give so much of that in the croissant and they had
I know, and I put my finger in it as I was driving.
You could just do that. Good. So that was awesome. And then Amelia had her chocolate muffin, so.
And then you could tell it came out like fresh and stuff. And somebody was asking for a spinach blah blah blah, and they only had the bacon, cheese, whatever. And I mean, it's because it was already gone and they reheated there and stuff, so it's all freshly made. So yeah, shout out to 3 Baristas.
Yep, it was amazing. But now we will dive into our topic because obviously we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Please give book recommendations. First, I'm going to start off with what I read when I was younger, because maybe that, I don't know, impacts what I'm into now. Well, first, I was a huge Fancy Nancy fan. I had a Fancy Nancy birthday party. I had the stuffed animal of her dog, Frenchie.
You had the outfit. I had everything.
It was
like, ooh la la. It's like being at a spa.
I totally just hit the mic. But anyway, I was obsessed with everything about Fancy Nancy. I wanted to.
We had the whole collection. We still have the whole collection because we read it to your younger sister too.
Yeah. I would totally. I actually saw on TikTok this girl had a Fancy Nancy birthday party for her. I don't know what year it was for her birthday, but like all the girls dressed up like Fancy Nancy.
They were older. You had that at your birthday party too. You had the dress. Mm-hmm. You had the crown, the whole thing. Everybody had boas and
that might be my next. I might steal that for my next year's birthday party.
For your 22nd?
For my 22nd.
Okay, it's 21st. We're going to Nashville. I mean, you can have a boa in Nashville if you want to.
For my 22nd birthday party,
it's Fancy Nancy.
It's gonna be Fancy Nancy themed. I'm bringing it back.
Yeah. But I was just so glad that your sister got into it a little bit too. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, you wanted everything. You were writing like she was. You were doing butterfly. We had we actually had a birthday party. It was butterfly after that or around that because Fancy Nancy had the butterfly birthday party.
Oh my gosh, yes. So obsessed with her. And then Judy Moody.
Yes, yeah. Not Judy B. Jones. Judy Moody.
Bella read Judy B. Jones.
No, Bella read Judy Moody. You read it too. No. Judy B. Jones was a little shit. And always complaining and blah. I'm like, you're not reading that. Yeah.
No, but Judy Moody was big. I watched that one year for my birthday too, and nobody liked the movie.
I did.
Nobody liked the movie, and they're all shitting on it and complaining about it, and it was my birthday, and I liked the movie, and it made me want to cry. Because if you watch a movie for somebody's birthday, you pretend like you like it, at least.
Well, I'm going to be guilty. We went to one of your friends' birthday. Remember, Max?
SpongeBob?
It was the movie SpongeBob SquarePants. Holy shit, I will never get that hour and a half of my life back.
I pretended like I liked it because I felt bad because, no, it was the worst thing I've ever seen.
It was the worst movie.
Yeah.
And Antonio Banderas was in that movie. I'm like, I hope he got paid a lot. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. And I guess when I was younger, it was Emily. So Emily.
Yeah.
Emily.
Is it
Emily, la baignoire à pâte. Emily, le gâteau au chocolat. So it was Emily and the, like a bathtub with the little legs, whatever it's called here. Or Emily and the chocolate cake and Emily and the Christmas tree. I mean, I had the whole freaking Emily collection. And I think we have 2 that Mamie had found that was not completely broken because I read them so much. And then she gave it to you guys. I mean, to me when you guys were born. But I think it's Amelia that read more. I mean, it's in French, so I read it more to her. So yes, I remember that.
We did watch Le Petit, or you read to us Le Petit
Prince. Yeah, that is actually a book that we had to read when we were in school. I can't remember which grade. But it's actually a beautiful story. And I think they have it translated in like so many, like multiple languages, Le Petit Prince, yeah.
And then after that, I got into like adventure books. So you remember when I read the Seven Wonders? That book series? Percy Jackson. Huge. Bella and I were huge Percy Jackson fans. Anything that my sister would read, she passed down to me, and then I would read it right after her. So we kind of like read, like she would read the first Percy Jackson, then I would, and then we were always like kind of right next to each other with that. And then I'm trying to think of other books that I was really into. Bella got into John Grisham and James Patterson.
Well, they had it because of me that I've been reading that, but they had like the kid, not a kid version, but kind of. So she read a couple of that too, but then quickly realized, like, although like she loved Percy Jackson and Judy Moody and stuff, but she is totally into real life history.
Yeah.
I mean, she reads stuff about like France or some of the presidents or
a
like
Queen of France or France's like secret. I don't know. She's very into like, I guess
Anne of
is it called
Scott,
the Victorian era?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I mean, I think I've said that to like another episode, but she talked to us about what is it? Like, you know, the Broadway hit Six.
Yeah.
So that era and all these girls and the Boylan sisters and stuff. And she did my aunt was there, my mom's sister, who like doesn't care about any of this shit whatsoever. And it's in English, right? She's talking to us in English. And your sister and I and my aunt sat in the living room, and for 20 minutes, she told us probably a century of history. Yeah. And we were so captivating by what she was saying. And she made it so interesting. And then I was like, you gotta be a freaking history. I mean, she's gonna be a teacher. She's doing a master's in this, but I was like,
a history teacher.
I'm like, you gotta be a history teacher, even like at the university level, because at that point, like people really want to be there and stuff. But I mean, she made it so interesting that my aunt actually is like, I did not know any of this.
Yeah.
Well, me neither. So I thought it was like pretty, I mean, so she's into real kind of books, you know, like in history. And then
I kept with the like Percy Jackson theme and kind of just kept with the fantasy. Like I tried to do John Grisham and I liked the mystery, but there's just something about like Percy Jackson's kind of like an escape from reality. Like you get to like live in this world.
Our friend Sue made me, I can't remember the this fairy world thing. And it was like, it is not my thing, but there's some like kind of sexy stuff, spice in there for sure. But, and it got to the point, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to continue because I want to see where it goes and what happens. And I think it was like book 7. I was like, okay, now it's like it was too much. Like,
oh, wow.
Not that spicy, but I'm completely lost in this not real world, you know, and stuff. So I stopped reading it. But that was my first series of what is it? Like the 50 Shades of Grey, like which mom did not? I mean, we were like at the country club and everybody, all the moms had
the 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah. Yeah. I remember, I think Dad was bringing us to a movie. And we walked out, and there was a line of just women for this movie. They were like
the 50 Shades of Grey
out the door to watch 50 Shades of Grey. I'm gonna grab my cat because she's meowing.
She wants to be like the star of the show.
Yeah,
coffee, books, and cats.
Yes. But then I can't really think of any other books at the moment that I read. The Seven Wonders was a huge phase I went through. I don't know. I haven't heard many people talk about it. But there is another book that I got really into, and that is, I got it here, The Boy Who Spoke Dog.
I don't remember.
And there's another one about this dog that was in Hurricane Katrina. I just loved dogs.
Oh yes, but that was a true
got
story.
Like stranded. This one is not.
No. The
Katrina one. Yeah, that's the true one.
Dog. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and he pretty much like this dog and him survived together. I don't know, but I don't know if anybody got into that phase of just reading dog books.
I think your little sister, it was not dogs. She was into like the unicorn thing. No, it was the dragons and the horses. No, it was horses. First it was unicorns, but that was short lived. And then it was all horses. It was a whole series. I think I think it was 12 books. I bought up to 8 or 10 and she read at least 8. And then she switched into this dragon thing, like a little bit kind of. She's
really, it's like Wings of Fire.
And all those, and then she's got the whole collection. I mean, we literally bought all of them.
But then after that, I got into, well, you remember, sorry, little side note back to when I used to read, is those fairy books and those unicorn books.
I used to read?
Huh?
When you used to read? You still
read? I used to read, no, I'm saying like when I used to read these books.
Okay.
I don't read these books anymore. That'd be embarrassing. But you remember those fairy books where it's like a different fairy on each book?
Yeah.
And then a different unicorn on each book?
Yeah. Oh, so that was you. I thought it was...
Yeah, no, that was me. I was really into that shit.
Okay, so Amelia was horses, yeah.
But that is so nostalgic. When I go to Barnes & Nobles and I see those books, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was so into that. But moving on, you remember the Greenleys?
Yeah.
And how... So my best friend in middle school, her sister was friends with my older sister, and they were huge, like, young adult romance readers and like just like, I don't know, coming of age books, and they would read them and then pass them down to us, and then we would read them and then we'd all talk about it. And so I got really into young adult romance and all of that. So I don't even remember what these are about. This one I believe is like a friendship book, Since You've Been Gone, and I think her friend leaves her.
No.
Her friend leaves her like a bucket list of stuff to do when she like disappears.
Aww.
And so that's like a fun book because me and my friend were, I don't know, I guess we related to that because we were so close.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of looks like the girl on it. Like we thought we looked like them. And then Catch a Falling Star is a romance book, young adult. It's just sweet. And then This Is Where It Ends, really depressing book. It's about a school shooting.
Aww.
So, but it's like very real and raw, and I was not expecting it when I got it. I thought it was a romance book. When it literally says on the cover, everyone has a reason to fear the boy with the gun. Clearly, I didn't read the cover.
What?
Yeah. Everyone has a reason to fear the boy with the gun. But it's amazing. It's an amazingly written book.
How did I not remember you reading
especially
this?
With what's going on. Because I was kind of like, I was like 14.
Oh.
But it's an amazingly written book, and it's very real with what's going on right now in this world. What kind of books were you into when you were like teenager?
I don't know. So I'm so glad that my girls are avid reader. I mean, even Amelia, when she finds a book that she's really into it, she could sit down and read it, like a lot. My mom's entire family, I don't know about the brothers, but the 5 sisters, avid readers. I mean, avid readers. There's maybe one, my Aunt Piet, that loves a little bit like more like the, oh my gosh, like what's the name of it? Like the romance book. It's always like the guy with the long blonde hair and on top of it that does this all the time. Fabio, I think that's his name. Yeah, it's a series of books. It's American, actually.
Wow.
I can't remember what it's called, but she's more like into stuff like that. But the other 4, including my mom, it's all suspense or thriller or things like that.
And this is like, all pretty much suspense.
Yeah, like a John Grisham type thing. But I mean, I love John Grisham, but not my favorite. But the Bosch series, I think that's Harlan Coben that does that. But so my mom introduced me to Mary Higgins Clark when I was younger, and I fell in love with her suspense books. And I have the entire collection. I don't know if going to be worth money. I maybe have one missing because I let a friend borrow it when I first left to go to the United States to come here to go study. And I don't think I've ever got it back. But every time she came out with a new one, and even at the end, she's passed away now, but even at the end when I think it was her daughter-in-law, I think that wrote books with her. They were not the same. I'm not saying that she's not good, but they were a little too easy to read.
Writing, yeah.
Yeah. I still have those. I still read them. So it's just, she was my favorite. I just thought she was an amazing thriller, I guess, a suspense book, murder crap. And hence the reason why we all fell in love with Castle,
Yes, we love the TV show Castle. It's amazing.
We watched it all, and then is it you or your dad that for Christmas? No, I think it was Memmy. It was my mom that bought me the series, like a DVD series. Yeah, that's Memmy, of Castle. So before Isabella started, that was 2020. Before she started college,
we spent the whole summer watching the whole
series. And we finished it. I think we were like halfway through but we already seen it all. I think we were like last DVD of the last episode. Anyways, we're kind of pissed the way it ended. Yeah. And now we were like a month ago. We're just sitting down for dinner, and we're just like, we just want to have a background noise so we don't hear each other eat. And then I just start Castle again.
Now we're restarting it, and we're watching all the episodes.
And we're like, I don't remember this one. And then somebody like, I remember that one, and it's just not really paying attention. But I will say, like, all my favorites are right here. Actually, my mom is here, so she pulled them out for me. Of course, there's John Grisham. Patricia McDonald, I think, is amazing. Harlan Coben is one of my favorites. So just and then I think the Bosch series or the Jack Ryan series too, like you see on TV. I've read all of those before. James Patterson. And James Patterson, actually, and I think it's Harlan Coben too, that you see in Castle when they all kind of meet.
Yeah, when they do the poker night.
Yeah, it's the real Harlan Coben,
club,
the real James Patterson that's there. But so when I was younger, I guess I was already by 14 years old, I was reading,
like thriller, crime, mystery.
They all, so that's what they did. It's like they all read it first, and they all had I think maybe S.J. Watson. See, so I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a 5 and it's underlined. So if it was anything below 4.5, I would not even, my mom would be like, don't even bother, because they would actually, before they would buy it. So combined, they probably have over easy 2,000-3,000 books, the whole sisters, the 5 sisters together. So at the end, I read anyways, all the Mary Higgins Clark, because I wanted to, read the whole series. But if there was that, then I was like, if it's not 4.9, I'm not reading it. And sometimes it's 5, 3 underscore. You're just like, okay, you got to read that one and stuff. So yeah, that's what I was reading.
That's cool. You remember John Green?
That sounds familiar.
The Fault in Our Stars?
Yes.
That's another romance book that Bella and I got into. I don't know. I really I read some James Patterson, the kids series. And then I really just did a full switch to the young adult romance because the Greenleys. And then I kind of took a turn, and unfortunately I read Colleen Hoover. This is a bad book. Well, this book isn't bad. This one's a mystery, a thriller. You would love this. I read this book in a day, in one shift at work. I read this.
Work was really interesting. Very
this
thrilling.
Is the only book that I encourage you to read because it's so suspenseful. I don't like the author. I think she goes too far with some of her explanations. It just makes everybody uncomfortable, and it's just really weird. And she's not a great writer. Oh. She's just not a great writer. But this book, she did a good job of having you on the edge of your seat. So
isn't she?
If you're gonna read a Colleen Hoover book, read this one.
She wrote a lot of books.
Yeah, and they're not that good.
Really? Oh, I thought she was. Okay.
No. For some reason. There's a lot of people that just you just need to read one line. I have one line in mind and I can't say it, and it's just so out of pocket. She just says crazy shit in her books. Next is this happy book, Meet Me at the Lake. This is before I got that one for a while. Yeah, this is before I got into fantasy, and this book made me so happy. I read it, I think, in less than a week, and if you're just looking for a happy little romance book, this is the one. It has great summer vibes, so read it during the summer. It got me so hyped for summer. I just love it so much.
Is there anywhere a book that you started but was never able to finish? Because I have one.
Okay, this one, I didn't. I finished it. It took me months. This book, again, this is another bad one. This book, I could not finish for the life of me, and it took everything in me too. Apparently there's a book before this that you're supposed to read. I don't think you have to read it, but it helps you understand the characters that are in it. And I didn't read it, and I was like, what the hell is going on? But it's just like there's no plot, there's no character building. It goes from like 0 to 100. I just like there's no tension either. Like, there's really no tension.
Who made you want to read this? I mean, is
I just saw it on TikTok, and I'm pissed off because I don't like it. So that was a waste of time.
I had a book last year. Oh, it's been more than a year. I started it, and then I had started this one at the same time. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to finish the one. And so I tried. And then we moved. I think, no, we had already moved. And then we went somewhere, and I brought it with me. Anyways, a year later, it had been a year. I tried, and I actually, sometimes you just like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to reread like a couple pages before, and then continue. I remembered every single thing. Could not get in so boring book. I think my mom had not read it yet, so I gave it to her. She's like, "How the hell did you read that book?" I'm like, "I didn't even finish it." No, so my mom finished it, and she's like, "How the hell did you read that shit?" I'm like, "I didn't." That's the thing. Like, this is my first time, and oh my gosh, I was in my 40s. Of all the books that I read, could not finish that stupid book. Like not even interested on knowing how it ended. I couldn't care less. I mean, there was nothing, and it was like I don't even know which author, but it was not one of them. But thinking of somebody that actually I was like, okay, I read other books, and it just like it comes back or whatever. Even if even the Bosch series, I love Detective Bosch, and actually I watch it now. And that's. Just found out today that the Legacy, the 3rd season, Bosch Legacy, it's the last season. There's only 3. Who does that? But anyway, so I remember kind of reading that, and some of them were not maybe the best, but still
it's like watching a TV show. You have to finish it,
Yeah, but not that book, not happening. Yeah.
The next book I haven't finished yet, but only because I was told to read this very slow, because it's like, it follows the life of these guys living in New York City, kind of trying to navigate their way through life. And it goes, you can see, or you learn about their childhood traumas that now affect each of them in their future. And it goes through like their life and all their struggles they've been through, triumphs and all of that. But it's a really hard read because it's just like so real and can be very depressing. So, I mean, it's very like cool to see them navigate their way through. Like, I mean, New York City is kind of hard to like make it, and it's inspiring, but also very depressing. So,
yeah. Well, should I mention? Did you read any French book? Because these are all French. I was just like looking. These are all French books.
I started reading one French book because I was so bored at the condo when I was there alone, and I just didn't finish it because I ended up reading this book, which you need to read because this one's also a thriller. It's a psychological thriller.
Sometime I like.
My roommate told me to read it. Has the biggest plot twist I've ever read, ever. Bigger than Verity, the Colleen Hoover book plot twist. This one is mind-blowing. So you need to read it next.
Okay, I will say the biggest plot twist ever. And I think it's in the book, but it was a movie, and it's The Sixth Sense. This was the biggest plot ever.
For me, I mean,
is it bigger
but
than
like
that?
I already knew what it was, but like, I mean, in a book, like, I've never had a moment where I was like, oh my gosh. And I like was in like, I don't know, I was freaking out for like a week and couldn't stop thinking about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll read it. Because I always read French. So like I just finished this one right before we moved, actually. That was last week. When I got into it, I couldn't stop. So we were at the pool. Mom, can we go? I'm like, I can't. I was totally into it.
We'll put these up.
But oh my gosh, it's gonna make a big.
It's a mountain of books.
But it's kind of funny because I can read pretty fast in French. I mean, I used to be faster when I had more time, but like, for me to read this little thing in English will take me longer than reading the big book in French. So yeah, because I have some of the like maybe not John Grisham, but I think it's James Patterson. We have like. Your sister was reading it too, so I have it in French and in English. Yeah. So I have the same book, 2 different languages.
Have you ever read a book in English and then read it in French right after? No. Or like, no? So I wonder if that like the translation would like maybe change it a little bit.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I do translation work, so you have to be very careful on the meaning of the words.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And sometimes but now that I know both languages, fairly well, I'm not an expert in any of the languages, but sometimes it's kind of weird when I read it. It's just like, is that really what they meant? And stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I didn't. Maybe I should do that.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
The second to last book I'm going to talk about is I'll Give You the Sun. And this is my sister's favorite book of all time and is on the top of the list. Yeah, it is on the top of the list for me as well, just because Bella and I shared this like connection to this book. And by Jandy Nelson. She actually just came out with another book, and I'm not sure if Bella read it yet, but I need to read it still. And I've read this book twice. I think Bella's read it twice or 3 times. And it is just such a beautiful book, and it is in the perspective of a brother and wow, I can't speak right now. The brother and then the sister, and in 2 different timelines, and then it kind of merges. Mm-hmm. But it's a really amazing story, and I think anybody at any age could read this. Like if you're 13, it's not inappropriate to read. If you're 30, I still think it's a great book to read.
I think Isabella said that Amelia needs to read this.
Yes, it's an amazing book, and it just, I don't know, it changes your perspective on a lot of things.
Well, good. Maybe she should do it. Is it going to make her more polite?
I don't know about that. I don't think it can change that. But that's an amazing book, and if you're going to read any of these books, read this one because it's amazing writing.
Okay, now she's going to talk to you about this amazing series.
I am just finished the 3rd book. I know I'm behind. I need to read Throne of Glass after that. I've heard all about Throne of Glass.
My coworker was talking about this at work.
It's huge. It was the #1 audiobook on Spotify in 2024. You guys are watching on, or if you're not watching and you're just listening to the audio version, we are holding up A Court of Thorns and Roses
by Sarah J. Maas.
Yes, I love Sarah J. Maas. She's the queen.
But so I don't know what's like A Court of Thorns and Roses, but like every kind of series has it's a whole series, but the whole series divided by mini-series, if I understood well. It's like this, because there's one book and there's more things, and then you need to have read that last one to continue with the other one. Okay, well, let me
explain this one because
I think it's so complicated to listen to it.
Okay, so this one, I haven't read Crescent City and I haven't read Throne of Glass. Next, I'm going to read Throne of Glass because I hear Crescent City is kind of like a modernized Feyworld. And I just think that defeats the purpose. Like, Feyworld's supposed to be like this fantasy world. And modernized kind of makes me annoyed. But I know that there's some characters in ACOTAR that show up in Crescent City. So I may read it. I don't know. But I'm on the 3rd one, or I finished the 3rd one. I'm going to start A Court of Frost and Starlight, which is a short book. And then I have the long last one. I'm not going to do any spoilers. The 2nd book holds a special place in my heart. And I had troubles getting through the middle part of the 3rd book. But once I got to the end, like the last 200 pages, Sarah J. Maas has an amazing way of fitting in like the craziest action scenes and plot twists in the last 200 pages that you're like, you can read all of that in like 2 hours.
Well, I just want to mention something that's really funny, is that I did not know that about her boyfriend, Bryce, but apparently he reads books, and I'm not saying
he doesn't.
Oh, he doesn't? Okay, so
he doesn't read books.
I didn't think he was a type. I mean, I don't want to be judgmental or anything like that. It's not a judgment, but I never thought that he would be
in the books,
let alone this kind of books.
Comes around this book.
But he was extremely bored at work at the gym one time, and he's not allowed to be on his phone or whatever. So he's like, I'm just going to bring the book and I'm going to read the book. And now he was actually ahead of her in that book. But anyway.
Yeah, in the 3rd book of the series, he beat me and passed me, but now we're at the same spot.
But the funniest part was that he saw that the main character,
Feyre,
was a boy. And he had in his mind, so if you have read this book, and
he was only like 2 chapters in though.
Okay, but just so you know, maybe some of our listeners know who the main character is. And he came home and he said that he thought it was a boy, and then he was
pictured it as Tom Holland.
And I just laughed so hard, and I don't even know what the heck that book is, but because of listening to you saying this, so I had to bring it to work. And then my coworker was like, it's a girl, right? I'm like, yes, now that we know it's a girl. She laughed so hard. She's like, I don't even understand how you thought I was a boy.
No, I'm like, this is a girl. The main character is a girl, Feyre. But I'm going to read the back for...
Maybe he said Feyre, in his head, and then that was a boy. I don't know.
I'm going to read the back of this for anybody that hasn't read it. But when 19-year-old huntress Feyre kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows about only from legends, Feyre discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal, immortal fairies who once ruled her world. At least he's not a beast all the time. As she adapts to her new home, her feelings for the fairy Tamlin transform from icy hostility into fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But something is not right in the fairyland. An ancient, wicked shadow is growing, and Feyre must find a way to stop it or doom Tamlin and his world forever. I love this book series so much. But yes, I would read this series first before you read Crescent City and Throne of Glass, just what I've been told. Next I'm reading Throne of Glass, but I know it sounds weird. I was very hesitant to start a book about fairies. I was like, absolutely fucking not, I'm not reading that. And my roommate was like, no, you have to read it. And here I am, obsessed with it. It consumes my every thought. I would like
to ask our listeners you mentioned 2 seconds ago that you can listen to it, or which one was really good, audiobook. Mm-hmm. And the only audiobook that I've ever listened to is when we drove from New Jersey, from your sister's house to Canada. And
she played an audiobook the whole drive.
But it was about President Roosevelt?
Yeah.
No, President...
I don't remember.
I can't remember which president. The person that was reading, it was not Roosevelt. Oh crap. Anyways, the tone that the reader, the reader, I guess, that was, and today he was so excited to be on
so monotone. So do y'all
we drove for how much? Like 6-7 hours, and that's all we listened to. And kind of funny because it kind of put me to sleep when I was in a zone. And you were listening to something else. Your sister in the back was listening to something else. I'm like, holy shit, I'm the only one who has to listen to this.
Yeah, I would have lost my mind.
And I was falling asleep, but for some reason, my brain remembered the shit that I was reading. That he was reading. So I got up. I'm like, I did not notice. She's like, fuck, you were listening? I'm like, no, I wasn't. But I was just like, fell asleep.
Wow, that's weird.
So it was kind of cool. But I was like, is it always like this? So I want to know if there's a very good audiobook or a good person that reads the books.
Yeah.
I just please message us. I would like to, like when I go for a walk, if I drive or whatever, or like I'm flying out tomorrow, I could do this, so.
Apparently the person who does the audiobook for this is amazing. I mean, maybe that's why it was number one. But I like reading the book and picturing it in my head. Like there's so much description in these books that I can picture it in my mind.
Yeah.
And then in the third book, too. In the third book, she really ups her writing with these battle scenes, and it's like you can see the gore almost because it gets like gory and like the bloody battlefield, and you can like see it happening, and it's like it would be an insane movie. So Sarah J. Maas, cast me as Farrah, please.
She really wants to be one of the not like any character in that movie, not just like
I'm not Nesta,
like just like like an extra in the back. No, she wants to be like one of the main actress. Main character.
Not necessarily Feyre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any books that you think that we would love to read, like I said, we're avid readers, and we can, even ask my other 2 daughters or even my mom to read, or even Bryce now that we know he reads stuff into the Fae thing. Please just, and audiobooks, please send us your ideas, recommendations. I would really, truly, love to read some. Or if you want to talk about a book, that we love to do this too. Yeah. We love to discuss stuff like that. So,
shout out to 3 Baristas. If you guys are near the Stewart area, go check it out. They were amazing, great people, and the vibe of the coffee shop's amazing.
We'll tag them on our post so you guys can go and click on it.
Go follow us on Instagram at @coffee.break, TikTok at @coffee_break. Subscribe or follow on whatever you're listening to. Our video podcasts are on Spotify and YouTube, and our podcasts come out every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. But thank you guys for hanging out with us during this book talk.
And we always end up with a Would You Rather. And I'm just going to blurt this out because I didn't really research that one today. But because we're talking about books, I will say, would you rather be like the main character in a romance book or a thriller book?
Probably a romance book because I don't do well with murder and... Well, you could be like, because it's scary.
You could be Detective Beckett in like
I know, but
castle.
I find that stuff so disturbing.
Heat, whatever it is.
Nikki Heat, yeah. But that stuff kind of like freaks me out. So like, it's fine to read it, but then in real life, I'd be like traumatized, and I think I'd shut down from stress. So I think I would choose the romance.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed our little book talk. This has been something I've been meaning or wanting to do for a podcast episode.
Yeah.
Because we're very into books.
Books and coffee. So, and cats.
That'll probably be the name of this episode. Books, cats, and coffee. That's a great name.
Books, coffee, ... and cats.
Yeah. But thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.